Podcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey guys, how you doing? Give everyone a few minutes to pile in. We'll get started here in just another minute. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for being an early bird. Stand by. Hey guys, let's do a quick AV. How are we doing on sight and sound? You guys sound off in the box for me, please. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Just getting my toys ready here, guys, making sure we're good to go on annotation. All right, let's flip the switch on the record button and get this party started. There it is. Okay, we already are recording. All right, guys, welcome in. It is Wednesday evening, another edition of Traders Workshop brought to you by thetradingroom.com. My name is EP. Those of you guys have been in here for the last couple minutes probably kind of figured that out. Sometimes I like to pose as Joe, but I'll be posing as EP tonight because, well, that's who I am. Welcome in. We're going to be talking about prime time, very precious commodity time, something that seems like a lot of us have these days for all the wrong reasons. But I'm going to stay focused on one reason, and that one reason is trading. It's funny, I was actually going through and looking at some old workshops, and when I say old, I'm like way back in the day, back in the early 2000, I guess that would be the turn of the century. And I was looking at what the prime times were then, if there's been much of any changes based on, just think about the electronic age and pits that have closed and pits that have changed and exchange changes and all the rest of it. The reality of it is they really haven't changed. There's only been like a couple of little minor details, one of which was in the Asian session. And another minor change that I've had, that's if you've been following me for the last 20 years, I guess, in the EUREX session. But really what my takeaway for tonight is, guys, I want you guys to be able to walk away tonight and, take some notes, apply this in the lab tomorrow. Some of you'll be applying it here in, well, about 3 hours. Actually, right now, Asian session literally this is the prime time for the Asian session. We're gonna put a trade on tonight, by the way. So let's have some fun. Let's go check out the currencies. Let's check out gold. Let's check out copper. and especially let's check out the Japanese yen. Let's see how it's being affected. But the fact of the matter is, I want you guys to take what you're applying or what you're finding and learning here tonight and apply it tomorrow in the lab, right? So this is where I get to slow it down. I think it took me 30 minutes to actually get to the Q&A box this morning. I was very busy, chasing after the Dow. Dow was down in the third bear zone today. The NASDAQ was holding up. Gold, I was looking at the sentiment. We had a massive risk off situation today. We started risk off, we ended a risk off, and we trade in the midst, right in the core of the U.S. Prime time, and so there's like actually a core within that prime time, and we're going to get to that tonight. But here's the one thing I do know. Probably the most important piece of information that I give you tonight is that your clock on your computer, I don't care if it's a laptop, a desktop, I don't care if it's a Mac or a PC, or I'm sorry, a Windows or a Linux machine, everybody needs to have the same time that we identify as when time starts, okay, in terms of our trading time. And that time is 12 o'clock Pacific. I'm sorry, my bad. 12 o'clock Eastern time. So you need to make sure that you go in, as I'm doing right now. You just got to go in and go over to the, all computers are obviously different, but wherever you are, you're in Italy, you're in Spain, you're in Japan, you got to go in here and you have to make this baby right here be Eastern time, okay? Now I'm in Los Angeles, okay? Joe's down in Florida, and he and I, for as long as we've been doing this, as long as we've been trading together and teaching people, I don't care where you are, you have to have your computer turned to Eastern time. And the reason for that is because that is what we have designated for the levels that adjust every 24 hours. And of course, when I'm talking about levels, I'm talking about these bad boys right here, right? So I know that there's a lot of people in here. This is like your first time. In fact, do me a favor, guys, just type in the number 1 right now. If this is your first time, you just started your trial this week, this is your first workshop, you had your first trade lab today, maybe it was yesterday, but just if you're like a newbie, just type in the number 1 so I can identify you. Just kind of gives me an idea of who's in the room. Obviously, we have a lot of members. This is the beautiful thing, is the members can come in and kind of take a few gold nuggets away and apply it to their trading. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Damn, EP always says that. Or I never thought of that. If I can have you walk away with 1 gold nugget tonight, I have done my job, and it's very rewarding for me. What's really cool is that I do this hour workshop thing one-on-one with a lot of people, and some people just kind of like, well, no, I can pick it up. I can get your workshops, and I can go to the lab. Well, the reality is, I'm a coach as much as a professional trader. I'm a professional coach, and I love coaching. I coach sports, I coach teams, I coach sales, I coach trading, I coach all sorts of things. It's really important that you guys understand that you need that coaching. All right. Now these levels for all you newbies, and thanks guys for giving me the feedback. If you haven't seen the basics videos, you got to watch those because you have to understand all the jargon, right? So these levels, okay, are going to every 24 hours reset, and we're going to actually see that whole concept here in just a few minutes. And for us, I have this probably 3 to 4 times a week. It's always the new people, and I always know those that haven't watched the basic videos that haven't changed their clock. And they'll be in the room, they'll say, EP, my levels are different than yours. Yeah, I know, because you haven't adjusted your clock yet. So it's really simple to do. And by the way, that can throw you off if you don't have a dedicated computer for your trading. You use your same laptop or desktop for your 9 to 5 work, and it's the same computer that your kids work on. By the way, if your trading computer is the computer that your kids play on, man, talk to me on the side for getting you some really good antivirus software, because there's so much malware out there that can just wreck your world when it comes to trading. So I'm getting off track. Let me get back on track by just saying, look, if you only have one computer, when you're done trading, then just turn your clock back, because it's going to probably mess you up with regards to like your schedule for your calendar and whatnot. But man, we're talking about time, and there's nothing more important than that one thing that I just gave you tonight. If you don't do that, we're not going to be on the same page. You're going to have different trade setups. You're not going to be cloned to what we do. And this is how we do it. This is how we've been doing it for the last 1998. So you guys add up the years. That's a whole lot of years. Okay, so let's go through the risk disclosure, make sure everybody is good by understanding that last time I checked, there is risk involved in trading commodities, futures, stocks, currencies, cryptos. Risk, risk, risk. Okay, so don't tell anyone that I didn't tell you that. Here's the agenda tonight. For these workshops, guys, I like to go do less on the slides and more in a real environment, and go to the charts and just break down charts and look at current markets, where they are, where they've been in terms of previous day and previous weeks. And so for tonight, definitely going to go into that. In fact, I put some charts together. I'm going to be looking at crude, Dow, NASDAQ, and gold. And if there's a market that you want to look at and you want to just throw a time out and say, hey, EP, what about this market for this time frame, for this prime time, then ask. So house rules, you have at the bottom of your GoToWebinar toolbar, you have a space to send me questions, and I will ask them. I promise to get to all of you guys. I usually can do it within the hour, and if I can't, I've got this thing called email, and last time I checked it, it works. Thank God for social media and email. Thank God for the internet. Thank God for Wi-Fi right now with what we're dealing with, right? Never thought I would say that. In fact, I still laugh when I say that out loud in front of my kids. Thank God for social media. Yeah, it finally found a good reason for it to work. So here's the agenda for tonight. Open for business. So you guys all need to treat your trading. This is all part of what we're going to be talking about next week, which is a trade plan. But you guys all need to be treating your trading like it's a business, right? And I'm going to use a real simple analogy. Way back in the day, I used to be, I've been a busboy, or as I used to call it, a tabletop technician. I used to be a waiter. I was a bartender, one of my favorite jobs to this day. 6 years behind a bar was just like fantastic in terms of mental preparation for life. But the reality is all three of those jobs at a restaurant, let's just talk about a restaurant, a store, okay? A 7-Eleven, a convenience store. 7-Eleven is probably not a good example because a 7-Eleven until now used to be open 24/7. Maybe they still are. Maybe that's part of the what are they calling it, where you have to be open. I forget what the word is. I can't think of it right now. But the fact is, if you have a store in a normal world, when we go back to our normal world, you need to flip that sign over, flip the switch on, and be open for business. Now, if you open for business, for people to come in or to create a revenue stream for yourself at 8 o'clock in the morning, does that mean that you park yourself in front of your computer at 7:57? No. How early do you need to get there? To answer that question, you need to ask yourself, how long does it take you to fire up the computer? Hey, maybe you could have done that last night. Maybe you can do that before you get that first cup of coffee. Maybe you leave your computer on. Okay. Number two, have you turned on a television? Have you read any news? Have you turned on and looked at any of your favorite news sites that you follow? Are you just following one news source? And is it jaded? Is it neutral? Is it right? Is it left-winged? That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother webinar in a whole nother area. But you guys know where I'm going. Like, are you listening to what's happening? Now, I think back to the days, which is a great story. Some of you guys might have heard it. I think back to the days when I would get ready to go trade, and I would get up at in California. I'd wake up at 5:30 in the morning. And this one particular morning, I woke up a little late, flipped on the television like I always do. Still just trying, still rubbing my eyes, walking to the part of the house to turn on the TV, and I glanced at the television, and I saw what appeared to be an apartment fire. I walked into the bathroom, took a shower, came out, and guys, that wasn't an apartment, and it wasn't just like some news feed from last night. It was 9/11. Okay, and my jaw hit the floor, and this is before. This is I didn't have my computer at home. I was actually a broker in these days, and I had to haul ass to my office to get to my computer and get to my phone and to help everybody that was screaming bloody murder. And of course the phone was going off, And man, that's a whole other story for another webinar. Actually, it makes a better virtual happy hour. Maybe we can do a virtual happy hour for the members one night. And man, just what took place there. The thing that I want you to take from that is that I flipped on the television, but I didn't pay attention. If I had paid attention, that what was happening, which we all know was, next to what we're going through right now, one of the worst things that ever happened to our planet here in the U.S. I definitely would not have taken that shower, and definitely would have got to the office sooner to deal with what I had to deal with. So you got to prepare yourself, right? You've got to be open for business and preparing for what you're about to do. Myself personally, I'll share with you guys, I need about 10 minutes. So that means for you guys, you need about 30. And when you can get it down to about 15 minutes where you're able, in fact, I've got a slide, I'll come back to this slide, where we can understand, hey, where are the markets more or less? What is our sentiment right now? I can anytime look at two markets and identify the sentiment for everything. Okay, and it'll take you guys a little bit of time. We created an indicator so you don't even have to think about it, which is pretty cool because now you can do it in seconds. But the reality is I need to understand what's the location, where have we been, L2L, look to the left, what's happening in the news. Let me just check out some headlines, check out my sources, what reports are coming out today, one by one. I'm not going to go through each and every one of these. These are actually part of the basics workshop. But all of these, this whole list of logic, all works into the preparation, the mental preparation we need to have to be open for business. Now, what I need you guys to do is you need to all figure out what hours do you want to trade? Did you ever stop and think for a second? And maybe this is going to put a smile on your face. Maybe it's a major pain in your side to have to get up early in the morning. Let's say you're in Hawaii, 3 hours behind me. Now here I am getting up at roughly 6 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 5:45, 6 a.m. Pacific. Well, guys, that's 2:45 in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, Hawaii time. And you know what? I can't tell you the last time I actually had somebody follow me in the trade lab that lived in Hawaii. It's been a long time. And I do recall the Jack that was doing it. Yeah, he actually had his firstborn. So he was actually doing it on his hours when his wife was sleeping. He got the kid to sleep, and then he'd get in front of his computer, and he was trading with me. So here's the cool thing. You don't have to trade. If you're here in the States, you don't have to trade from 8 to 11, which is one of our prime times. I'll show that later. Don't worry about that right now. If you're in London or you want to trade the London session, and I'll talk about why that's a big deal if you love currencies, and you're thinking, well, man, I'm going to really upset my household if I have to start waking up and setting the alarm for 1 o'clock in the morning and upsetting the entire house because now we're all confined into the same house and I don't have a space that's far enough away and they're going to hear, alarms going off and order filled. So, what I'm trying to get after here is find a time that works for you. The reality is we need to have you mentally happy, mentally prepared, and you have to enjoy what you're doing. If you're not having fun trading, and I've been saying this for years, if you can't have fun, nobody likes to lose. But remember, losing is part of it. I know that's lame. I know that's corny, but you're only as good as your last trade. Man, I mean that so wholeheartedly. I can have 4 banging trades, and my next one I lose. Maybe I only lose $100, but I'm only as good as that last trade, and that for me makes me pumped up to want to do better on the next one. Make that $100 back, and maybe get another base hit and another base hit, and before you know it, now I'm up $300-400 as a simple example. But the fact of the matter is, you guys need to be mentally prepared. And let's talk about this third bullet here. I have the V's. We have 3 of them. What we need to have when it comes to prime time is we need to be trading when we have volume, we have volatility, and we have visibility. Now, volume, that's kind of a no-brainer. Like think about back in the day with the movie Trading Places and guys in Chicago and all the jackets. Everyone's got the ugly jackets, different colors, different stripes, different floral patterns, and they got their hands waving up in the air. Well, guys, that's volume. There's something going on. There's people that are trading, and we need that for a market to move. We also need volatility. I've loved the last few months here. It's funny because it was about a year ago that I was talking with Joe, big part of the reason why I'm back, saying, look, man, volatility is going to come back. We got this President Trump that's going to be trying to get back into the office for another 4 years. That's got a lot of people pissed off. We got a guy, someone that's going to be on the Democratic ticket, whether it be a man or a woman. Now we know it's a man, and he's going to try to knock Trump off. That's going to piss a lot of people off. Then we got this stuff going on around the world, global crisis, global problems before COVID, like talking about how, OPEC issues, obviously the trade embargoes with China, all this stuff like a year ago, like it's like last year in slow motion. And I said, man, 2020 is going to be like right the 6 to 9 months before Barack Obama came into office. I just felt that was going to happen again. I saw the stars lining up, and it has been spot on. Now here's the good news: the volatility is a great thing. Excessive volatility, you have to be exceptionally careful because it can knock you out. That's why trading micros is a great thing. We're going to be talking about that tonight. Micros, you can actually leverage a heck of a lot more, trade a few of those, and use the grab and go method that you guys see me using on the Turbo Scalp. Trade for a little bite. It's like your appetizer. Take it down and let the second one run. Today I didn't have any of those. I was actually just using one lots today because of the size of the risk. The volatility, though, if you look at the VIX, is exceptionally lower than where it was about 4 weeks ago, but it's still high, all things considered. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago, maybe like middle of January, where the VIX was trading somewhere between 15 and 19, and it's like trading 38 right now, and 2 weeks ago it was up in the 54, 64 range. Crazy. But man, volatility is great. We need that chaos. Chaos equals opportunity. Okay, but the question is, are you ready and prepared for it? This next bullet I have down here, so just to kind of do a quick recap, let's make sure we figure out when we're going to be open for business, what works for your lifestyle. Let's talk about the mental preparation, the list of logic I was talking about earlier, taking the time to be in front of your computer and prepared. Do we have volume? Do we have volatility? Do we have the visibility? Are we able to apply the levels to any chart and have visibility as to where the bull and where the bear zones, plural, zones are? So guess what? RQ levels gives that to you, right? RQ levels is going to give you the ability to have, is going to give you the visibility that you need. The next one here is a night owl. It kind of blends in with what I was talking about earlier. If you're somebody that likes to stay up late, and again, it depends on where you are in your time zone, where you are on the planet, but some people like to get up early. And if that's the case, when are you the most alert? The last thing you want to be doing is sit in front of your computer and yawning. I'll use myself. There's nights that I know that there's some stuff going on fundamentally, and I like to put trades on for the London session. For me, that's 11 o'clock at night, my time. And what I like to do is I like to place trades and set it and forget it. Use an OCO, an order cancels order, where, if I'm looking for, let's just pretend that that's the first level of resistance and you got the bull and the bear, I'm looking to take a long trade and I get in, right when I have the qualification, I plant my sell stop and I plant my sell limit, and that's called an OCO. OCO. You guys can go look that up on NinjaTrader. You can go look that up anywhere. Just go type it up on Google. But check out somebody that gives you like a little lesson on that. It's really cool. NinjaTrader gives you the ability to when you get filled on your entry, it automatically puts a limit, automatically places a stop, and when one of those gets hit while you're sleeping, the other one cancels out. So hopefully it's my target, and then this one gets canceled out automatically, which is really cool. I don't have to be there. And guys, sometimes these trades can take, if you saw me in the lab today, some of those trades can take 2, 3, 4 hours to get to the target. Yeah, so pretty cool. That's like a set it and forget it. And I do that with the channel the channels that I showcase with the levels. So again, the takeaway here is: do you like to trade early? When are you the most alert? And don't fib. It's very important that you stick to this, because the prime times that I'm going to show you guys for all 3 of these sessions, okay, the ones that I show, you kind of need to figure out, well, here's the basket of markets I like, or here's the one market I like. You know, for those of you guys trading micro accounts, you know, you're probably the 5K and under crowd. You know, I'd highly recommend you take a look at trading that EUREX session with the currencies. Slow trades. There's not as many trades. You're trading currencies. You can trade a futures contract for the 6A, the Aussie, the Euro, the Pound, the CAD, and they have micros for those. And if you like to trade the stock indices, great. Let's get you trading at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'll talk about those sessions in a minute. Okay, so in fact, let's just get to it right now. Let me get to the next slide here. Just take off my marker. Talked about the list of logic, and let's go talk about, well, let's actually get to the next one. Here, take a copy of that. For those of you guys that can't stay up late, because I know it's late for some of you guys watching this this webinar. And by the way, yes, this is recorded. Yes, I will send you a copy. Thanks for coming out tonight. We're about 26 minutes in, so it's fair for me to give you the times. There's your map. Those are the core times. I'll talk about them briefly, and then I'm going to go show you these on a chart, multiple charts. All right, so let's talk about the first one. So the first one we're talking about is the EUREX session. Okay, so I'm starting from midnight going forward. So the very first session that we have after midnight is from 2 to 5 o'clock in the morning. By the way, these are all going to be Eastern or New York time, okay? Make it really easy. So from 2 to 5, that's 3 hours. The best set of markets to trade is currencies. I talk about this in the trade lab all the time. As a matter of fact, you don't see me do too many trades in the lab from 9:30 to 10:30 because it's just not the best time to trade currencies. As a matter of fact, you can see here from 8 to 11 in the US session, you don't even see currencies in here. That's because it's not the best time to trade those markets. There's not as much volume. There's not as much volatility. I have the visibility, but 1 out of 3 Vs is not going to get it done. So I really have to have a lot of logic stacked up in my favor. And guess what else I need, guys? In fact, I think I still have this up from earlier. Let me just exit out of this for 1 second. Please tell me I do. Yep. I need to have this. Okay. I need to have my list of logic stacked high. Okay. The sentiment. And when we say sentiment, guys, if I have a mixed sentiment or a bullish conflict or a bearish conflict, what do you guys see in there? That's where you see the currencies. I like to trade currencies when I have a mixed sentiment. I like to go long currencies when I have a bullish conflict. I like to be short currencies and long the dollar if we have a bearish conflict. We have not had that. We didn't have those sentiments today. And by the way, if you need to understand those sentiments, again, that's based back in the logic, and you don't really need to think too much about it because we have an indicator for that called the RQDMS, Dynamic Market Sentiment. And it's all part of your package, and I'll show that on a chart here in just a minute. So point being, if today, as an example, we had risk off. And risk off, as you can see, I have no currencies. I actually do have the dollar in there to be short. But I wasn't looking really for any currency. I really couldn't find even a trade. And I think I saw one. It might have been the yen. There were some currencies that had gone through the floor back at 5 in the morning and maybe as late as 8 in the morning. But in the U.S. session today, really nothing stacked up with that sentiment, and I couldn't find a lot of logic to take a trade for the currencies. All right, so let me get back over to this guy here and go back to the times. Make sure you guys are taking a picture of those times. Very important that you guys have it. Staying with the EUREX. So we have the currencies. I also like gold and copper. They have good movement in that London session. Interesting for gold and copper. Sometimes you'll find often like around 1:30. So here I was talking earlier about how you need to be in front of your computer. If you want to trade at 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, then you should be in front of your computer by 1:30, 1:45. And I can tell you right now, you might want to even crank it back a little bit earlier, because oftentimes you can see copper and gold getting a jump before that 2 o'clock turn, okay? Crude, natural gas, another one. So often you see some pretty significant moves in gas, oil and gas during that EUREX session. The next one we're talking about is the one here in the States from 8 to 11. Now, Joe opens the doors at 9 o'clock. I usually join Joe right about 9:25, 9:30, and get you guys ready for the core within the prime time. But the prime time here in the United States is going to be 8 to 11 to trade indices, to trade gold, and to trade crude. Okay, those are the markets that now maybe it's kind of connecting. Oh, this is why he always has those 4 charts up. If you look at my charts, which I'm about to pull the curtain down here in a minute, you'll see from left to right, I've got the gold, I have the crude, I have the Dow, I have the NASDAQ, and then I have in the upper right corner the mini S&P over the T-notes for purposes of looking at the sentiment and seeing what those benchmark markets are doing. I use the S&P and I use the T-notes, guys, as an indicator, just the chart itself, just alone, just using the S&P and the notes on top of the levels, that in itself is an indicator for me. I always like to see what the S&P is doing, which can really foreshadow what these markets might be potentially getting ready to do. Now, obviously 9:30, that's when the stock market opens up. And for that first 30 minutes, my goodness, there's how many times have you guys seen me in the trade lab hit the profit objective within 10 to 12 minutes? I mean, it can happen really fast, and that might be all you need. You hit your objective, you're done. That does not mean you need to stick around for an entire half hour. Does not mean you have to continue to trade until 11 o'clock. This is where a lot of people fail. A lot of people fail because they say, well, I'm going to be a professional trader, and I don't do anything else. So if I wake up at 7 in the morning and I'm in front of my computer at 7:30, I'm going to trade until noon. I'm going to look at the markets and I'm going to trade those markets until noon. That's wrong. That is it. Unless you are an institutional trader, unless you trade millions upon billions of dollars with a particular algorithm for a particular system for a particular group of investments, no, that is not what you do. I've never figured that out. I mean, I like to use the analogy, and I use this one a lot, going into Vegas. You know, you go into Vegas and you throw $100 down on the table. I don't care what it is that you're going to play, what it is that you're going to speculate, what it is that you're going to try to increase that $100. We all know it's a gamble. It's a massive gamble if you're just playing roulette and you're counting on red or black. What the hell happens when green comes up? 00. You feel like a 00, right? My game is craps because I'm not just betting, speculating on one thing. And I can tell you guys right now, and some of you are actually here, have done this and seen me do this. I don't sit on a table for more than about 20 minutes, and that's usually all I do. I go to dinner, I go to a show, I am done. I've made my money. If I think I can continue to sit at that table for the next 8 hours, maybe an hour, 2 hours, 8 hours, and continue to rinse, lather, repeat, you are major mistaken. That is not how it works. Same with trading. You need to wait for the setup. You need to wait for the right sentiment. Think of the list of logic. And when those stars line up, the more you have, the more things you have stacked up in your favor, the better you can use these proprietary indicators that we show you, we give you to stack the odds in your favor. All right, so if you have a day like I had today, didn't have a good morning, had a lousy morning, I couldn't catch the Dow. It was going sideways down at the base of the critical support level this morning. I chased it 3 times. I said out loud in the room, guys, I'll be having to come back later this afternoon because it's not happening here and I'll have to be looking for a run later. Turns out I was. I went over to the crude oil. Crude oil in the afternoon, the last hour of the day session before that day session closes. I'm not talking Globex, talking about once upon a time when the NYMEX had traders down in the pits and people were trading paper back and forth and not electronic tickets. That's still a very valuable time for people to recognize the close of the day's session. So from 1:30 to 2:30, love this trading session. Love this one for crude. Oftentimes, you'll see either continuation or you'll see a dramatic pullback in the opposite direction, where, for example, today, crude oil rallied up to the high of the day about 10 minutes before the close. And then for the last 10 minutes of the session, from 2:20 to 2:30, it sold off. Okay, so that's a good one for the crude. And then the last one to speak of for the U.S. session is going to be just for the indices. It picks up right where the crude left off. So after you're done trading the crude, maybe you don't find a trade in the crude. You can go right over to the indices. Now, let me make this clear. You only trade these two if you have to. Kind of think that went with what I was just saying earlier. You're trying to make your money if you only trade the U.S. session. And if you are failing to make your money here, you're not able to do it. You have to ask yourself, do you have enough left in the tank? What is your daily goal? What is your daily goal? And what is your daily limit? You got to have a red line. You have to have a red line to say, okay, man, you know what? I based on my fill in the gap, my 3,000, my 5,000, my 10,000, my 20,000. How many days can you afford to lose that amount that you're calling your red line before you're out? I mean, it's kind of like 3 strikes, man. If you got a $5,000 account and you're going to tell me that you'll allow yourself to lose $1,000 3 days in a row, yeah, something is not going to work out there. I mean, you're just wasting your time. And don't waste our time. Don't waste your time. You're just going to kill your psyche. It's not going to happen. You got to trade some micros. You got a $20,000 account and you're comfortable losing $1,000. It's a little bit more reasonable on a $20,000 account. And even after 3 days, doesn't feel good, but you need to check yourself. Why have you lost 3 days in a row, $1,000? Something needs to change. Either you need to limit that daily limit of $1,000 to something lower. You need to take your 2 lots or 3 lots that you're trading down to a 1 lot, or you need to try a different trading system. Maybe you're going for too big of targets and you're not comfortable just getting some little $100 and $200 base hits, trading some multiple lots with the grab and go method. You know, maybe you're not comfortable with turbo scalp yet. Okay, I get it. Trade some channel breakouts, but let's add some more bricks in your favor in terms of the probability being the bricks to take better trades. That's often what I find when I do my one-on-one coaching, is I just find people taking trades that they just shouldn't be taking. And you're just like finding 1 or 2 things out of a list of like 5, and that's good enough. Well, look at the end results. And I can tell you guys right now, and you'll be there if you haven't been there yet, you'll know the answer to what you're doing wrong before you have to say it out loud to me. I'm just there to kind of like help you get it off your chest and admit it to somebody. Because guys, let's face it, you're not admitting your failure anywhere in your trading to anybody else in your house. I don't see any of you guys walking around talking to anybody else in your household, whether it's your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your kid, your grandma, Aunt Beth next door. I don't see you telling anyone, man, I sure am struggling with my trading. You're not. You're keeping it inside. And man, it's not good to keep stuff like that inside. You got to get it outside and share it with somebody. EP, check out these charts, man. Here's my trading yesterday. What the hell am I doing wrong? I'm the guy that will say it like it is. And sometimes that's what we all kind of need. Okay, so allow me to be that guy for you. All right, the last one to speak of is the Asia session. That's happening right now, right? It's 8:38 right now. So we're going to go look to see if we can find a gold or a copper trade. Now, you can trade currencies also during this time frame. You can, but it's not usually as strong. The Aussie, you can find like the Aussie, the AD, or as it would be for a futures, a 6A. And sometimes you can find the 6Y to be working okay. You need to pay attention to the logic, the reports. Hey, is there a report tonight? Okay. And let's actually just transition right over to that, and we'll find out if there's a report tonight and if we should be looking at the Aussie, the yen, gold, or copper. And before I do that, let me erase this stuff. Now we are 39 minutes in. I think we're doing okay. I'm going to take a breather. I'm going to look at the box here, see if you guys have any questions. If you've already sent some, great. Let me address those now. If you have something that's on your mind, like, hey, can you explain that a little bit deeper, a little bit fatter, wider? This is the time for you to ask. And as soon as we get through this, it shouldn't take more than a minute or two. We're going to start looking at some markets, and I'm going to actually put on a trade for you guys first. Simon, did you get your audio taken care of? See a couple of you guys having some AV issues. Cassie, are you good on AV? Simon, you good now? Yeah, hey, Champ, thanks for pointing that out. Great point. In fact, I wasn't going to put EST. Oh, I didn't put EST. I put ET. You're right. Daylight savings time has to be taken into consideration here. Right now, I'm never good at this daylight savings time thing. So obviously, when the when the clocks switch, then everything's going to be off by an hour. I think I'll leave it up to you guys to figure that out. And here's the beautiful thing. I don't even have to give you guys this stuff. I mean, I just gave you the cheat sheet with the times, but the reality is when we go look at any chart, we can usually figure out, hey man, I can consistently look at this GC chart, gold, and I'll look at 4 of the last 5 days, and I can kind of figure out with the map of the levels, I can kind of see when I should be trading, and that's the prime time. But I've already given you the answers, but here we are. We're going to go take a look right here, right now, at some of these charts. So let me take down the screens in the background here. And let's go look at, first and foremost, reports for tonight. Bear with me here. I'm going to go look at reports. Here we go. So I use this particular, guys, there's tons of different ways of finding reports. Forex Factory, I'm not plugging them. They're not paying me anything. This is the one I've used forever. It is Wednesday the 15th, and I'm going to go look to see what we have in terms of reports. You see that little green dot right there? Well, that little green dot is telling me, hey, this is the next one that's coming up. It's at 9 o'clock. Well, guess what? That's in 20 minutes, 22 minutes. Aussie. Something is going to be happening that's going to affect the Aussie. Now, how much it's going to affect, I have no idea. It's an employment change. Yeah, I believe that's going to be like our jobless number here in the States. Anybody from Australia? Anybody from the APAC region here tonight? If you are, am I right on that? I would assume so. So let's go look at the 6A and see how it looks in terms of strength or weakness. Now you think I'm looking at a chart, but no, I'm actually talking about the RQ Tech. Okay, let's look at the 6A. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the biggest laggards that are out there. And the Aussie is on it. Now, the biggest laggard still is the NASDAQ, the S&P, the Dow. Then you've got copper by net change, and then the Aussie. As far as currencies go, the Aussie is the biggest lagging currency as we speak. Now, the levels are not adjusting until another 3 hours and 20 minutes from now. Now, if I recall, the Aussie, and I'm going to go pull up a chart right now on it, I believe the Aussie had a pretty significant move today. Go ahead and take a look at it here. This is on a 5-minute chart. This is with the levels, with the channel breakout. And yeah, I was right. We broke down at 4 o'clock this morning, and we're not going to see the new levels. So this isn't going to be a good one to talk about. We'll talk about what happened last night. But I just want you guys to see that right now, let me just go ahead and put a couple of verticals up here. There is 8 o'clock, and I told you from 8 to 11, which is going to be roughly over here. Okay. So we just got up and going, just got started. And what do you see? You see that we're breaking down already, breaking down low into the basement. This is bear zone 3. Remember earlier? Right now, according to the map, we're way down here. bear zone 3, bear zone 1, 2, 3. So for this very session, trading right here, right now, the unfortunate thing is that we do not have a new level. We don't know what the next level is going to be, and you're not going to have that till midnight. So would I take this trade? It's tough. I'll tell you guys right now, I don't have a next destination unless I do something called L2L. Look to the left. That's not too hard, right, guys? I just go over here, grab a horizontal, and say, well, what was the low over to the left? Well, well, well. Look at that. Isn't that just a coinky dink? Okay. So if I was considering getting this trade on 15 minutes ago, as we're breaking down, take a look at what's happening. You've got prime time designated here by this yellow line that I put on, 8 o'clock. You've got a channel, a couple of channels in sync. So at the beginning of prime time, right there at my red dot, you could plant a sell stop. You don't just jump in at 8 o'clock. No, you place a sell stop. And what you're waiting for is you're waiting for the candles or the bars to turn color. Give me a 5 accelerator happening right there. Give me a color change. Neutrality to weakness. Neutrality, weakness, boom. It gets hit. Now you're only 5, 10, 15, 25, 30 minutes in, and you got your first trade. And you can measure the reward and risk. I could measure this reward and risk back here. Okay, watch this. I'm going to put a, let me get this out of the way. I'm going to put a crosshair up so I can see it. Okay, so right there in my crosshair would be the approximate entry. 63, we'll make this easy, 6,300. What am I going to be going for? Well, I don't have any levels, but I just showed you looking to the left. Let's see if we can go find that bottom. That would be 62.86, so 14 points. I'm going to try to make 14 points. I can tell you guys right now, I would like to risk no more than a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio. Ideally, I want to risk half of what I'm trying to make. So if I'm going to risk 7 points to make 14, 63.07 is going to be right about the top of this candle. But I can tell that that's really probably not going to be enough since we're pretty far down into the zone. I'm going to have to do a 1-for-1. So I'm going to have to risk 14 points here. So 63.14 is right here at my crosshair. And I would be comfortable with that. I'd be comfortable risking, and by the way, on a full contract, guys, that's $140. It's $10 a tick. So those of you with smaller accounts, I'd say anything less than 10K, this is a safe play. You could have made $140 here in 10, 15 minutes per lot. Okay, done. Maybe you do a 2 lot here, and your goal is to make $300. You know, depending on the size account, you're done. Maybe you just do a trade at night. Maybe you're bored. You're like, hey, I'm going to try putting a trade on right now. Well, let's see here. Let's go through that again. Let's see, is there a report coming out? And by the way, guys, the report doesn't come out till 9. But guys, at prime time, people start taking their bets. Yeah, I said it, bets. They start speculating. They start saying, oh man, I think this inflation number is going to be blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go sell this market. Let's look to the left. Man, this market's already gotten beat up. Is this inflation number going to be good enough to make this market rally back up? Probably not. Now, what am I doing? I'm going back, and we're going to look at another prime time session. We're going to look at the Asian session from yesterday, and then we're going to look at the EUREX session. Same market. Same market. Okay, so here we go. 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock. 2300, 2300 it is. Okay, there it is. Let's stretch this out. Now, what's the problem with this session? Completely different than the one I just shared with you. The breakdown is happening halfway into the zone. And not only is it into the zone, but guys, what zone is that? Take a look. What zone is the breakdown taking place? Taking place in a bull zone. This would be a counter trend trade. We're not going to use the channels for counter trends. Yes, I know it made money. Yes, I know. Let me just tell you something from pure experience. That does not happen as much as it does on the trend following side. Okay? So I like to use these channels for trend following trades. So I would never have been looking at this market for more than about 5 minutes. And that 5 minutes would be when I pulled it up at 8 o'clock last night and said, oh, no, we're in the bull zone. So am I going to be buying this high? This is not a scalp trade. I'm not looking to get in and out for 5, 7, 10, 20 minutes. I'm looking for a trade here that will probably take 20, 30, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours to get to the next level. But buying this high, that's dangerous. That's a risky trade. So I'd be looking at this trade in 5 minutes, 8 o'clock yesterday, and saying, no, not interested. And now you guys know when I pull up the charts in the Trade Lab how I quickly take you around the world, how I quickly look at the charts, and what I'm looking for. I'm looking for an opportunity to buy near the bull or sell near the bear. Or if I'm going to do a zone 2 trade, I'm looking for an opportunity where I can buy in the secondary bull or sell in the secondary bear. And that's not the case here. No trade. I'm not touching it. Now, let's go over to the EUREX session. Do you see the levels adjusting at midnight? Can you see it? I'm going to just plant this over here for now. So there's the levels adjusting at midnight. Let me just get rid of some of the stuff so it's not overkill with the lines. There's one thing I hate is there's too many lines and people don't know what they're looking at. I'm actually going to get rid of the channels here too. Just bear with me. I'm going to make this really, really simple. Just going to show you the levels. It's important that everybody sees why it's important that we adjust our clocks to be on an Eastern time to adjust so we are in sync with what the levels do at midnight. Do you see the adjustment? Slight adjustment on the bull bear. Actually a pretty heavy adjustment on the resistance. Pretty heavy adjustment on the support. Now, what I did here is I moved this horizontal to the prime time for the EUREX session to, by the way, we're still talking about the Aussie, 2 to 5. Okay, this was today. This was today. Now, if you came and sat it and parked your butt at your computer at 2 o'clock, you're not catching this. Nope, not getting it. You've already missed it. Maybe you can catch a second zone trade and ignore the oboe signals. Ignore the yellow and the green dots. We're not talking about that tonight. That was last week in money management. But if you're looking for a channel trade, okay, well, what would you be looking for a channel breakout? Well, first of all, you got to be looking for some channels. I don't have those on. I'm going to put those on right now for you. I actually have different templates so I can showcase different looks. So now I'm going to put my DMS template on, which is going to have my channels, going to have my levels, and it'll show you what trade opportunities you had in both zones last night, or I should say early this morning. I shouldn't say last night. It was actually 2 o'clock in the morning today. All right, so here we go. Again, we're still looking at the same market, the Aussie. Now, if you were an early bird, what could you have done on the Aussie? You would have had to been parked in front of your computer roughly at 1:45. You were like me, and I told you, get in front of your computer 30 minutes early. 1:30, guys, is right over here at my arrow. You could have planted a sell stop. You would have looked and said, hey, are there any reports? Well, let's go back and look at yesterday. Guys, what do you see here? This was the Aussie session. This is the APAC session. And then you have right here at 2:45, you had a report that was affecting the European market. Aussie started moving. I don't know. I can't tell you right at this very second why the Aussie started moving early last night, but it did. And if the Aussie's your market and you're looking at the RQ Tech last night, and I can't tell you what the tech said last night, but I can tell you what it's saying right now, and it's got red across the board, weakness. If you're showing weakness across the board and you see an opportunity and you can pre-calculate the risk and you can measure the risk from the entry point down, wrong direction, to the top green level with a little bit of a buffer and the measurement down to the first yellow, that's your risk reward ratio. I can tell you by just eyeballing this, I'm going to make 2 times the amount of the one amount that I'm going to risk. Simple terms, I'm risking 50 to make 100. I'm risking 100 to make 200. I'm risking 500 to make 1,000. That's all based on the number of contracts you're trading. Guys, 5, 10, 15, 25, 35 minutes, target 1. Now, if you're trading micros, a $3,000 account, hell, a $2,000 account, you could trade 2 lots right here. Take one off and let the second one run. And guess what you did at 3:45 in the morning? That trade right there, in terms of points, went down to 63. Wow, I can't even believe I'm saying that out loud. It's 63.40. Wow, 63.40. I'm so sorry, Mr. Aussie. Selling off from 6,400. That's a 60-point trade. 60 points. That's a $600 move on a full contract. Okay? Not bad, even for micros. And you're making money along the way. And how much were you risking? Eyeballing it, 64.05, you're risking 11. You're risking 11 points to make 60. And if you're talking about the first target, you're talking about 11 points of risk to make 20. That's a 2-for-1 and a 6-for-1 risk-reward ratio. And again, that's the EUREX session. Now, I'm going to take you guys over to crude oil. And let me just go with a blank slate here. And this is what I like to call a naked chart. Okay, nothing on it, absolutely naked. I'm going to switch this over to crude. And I eyeballed this one earlier, which would be a good one to showcase for the US session. Okay, so I'm going to go back to 414. So today's the 15th, so that would have been yesterday. Let's see here, 414. It's going to be right here. Okay, so this is just ordinary crude chart from 414. Okay, that line right there, that is midnight. That's when the levels adjust, and I don't have anything on it. Now, prime time for the US session is 8 in the morning to 11. Already told you guys that. You guys are well aware of that. Right there. Okay? Now, prime time for the EUREX session. I'm going to make these different colors so you guys don't get confused. I'll make these tomato. There you go. Tomato color. Who comes up with these color names? 2 to 5. Okay? So you got EUREX here, London here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and change my template to just add the levels. Give that a second. And let's see if you guys have a better understanding of where the bull and the bear exist. Stretch this out a little bit. Oops. There we go. By the way, I'm left clicking on the bottom axis to stretch the chart. For those of you who don't know that. You can also click on your control on your keyboard, click down, push down on your control, and left click to drag the chart down. A couple of Ninja Trader tricks there. Okay, so let's talk about this session right over here. This is the EUREX session. Okay, and you can see that there is right at the beginning, there's some kind of a break there. There's some 5 accelerators here, a nice sharp drop in here. What else do I need? I got accelerators where there's 5s that tell me when there's acceleration. What do I have over here? I got a 5 that's happening right before the prime time. We go right down to the floor. What else do I need? I got a pullback. I got another rundown. What else do I need? This is the US session. I need some channels. Show me where the breaks are. Make it more defined. Can you also change the color of the candles to show me where I want to consider starting to sell when we go from yellow to purple? That's for selling. So here we go. I'm going to go change my template, putting some more indicators on, and away we go. Dynamic market sentiment is going to give me channels. I'm going to have some sentiment in front of me, and I'm going to have some accelerators, and I'm going to have some colors of candles that tell me where the exact break is for this market. Okay, stretch this back out. And this is today. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, shrink this down. Stretch this out. By the way, guys, I love doing this. It's almost like a magic trick. It's so cool. Okay, so let's talk about the EUREX session first. Make sure I got the 14th. Yes, I do. Okay, so here we go. 14th. This is yesterday. A little bit more clear, right? Now I'm going to put a circle around the pinpoint entry. You're in front of your computer. You're going to have a sell stop. Again, you're looking at your logic. Let's not forget about the fact you're looking at your list of logic, trying to stack the bricks in your favor. What's the sentiment? What's the RQ tech say? And let's assume that it's pointing for you to go sell crude. Well, you're in the bear territory. You're in the first bear's territory. Ideally, we want to sell as close to the top as we can. Not giving you that opportunity, but it's not bad. It's not even quite halfway into the zone. You could plant a sell stop. You'd be looking at measuring the risk from this channel up to that top green. And if that's too much risk for you, use the first green level. That's the bear level. Allow the market to come up and test and come back off. Okay, so let's say that's your risk. Just eyeballing that, that's about 35 points of risk. And the reward is going to be what? The level. Now, I know that you want to make the last level. I get that. But guys, that's going for a home run, and you can't step up to the plate every friggin' time and expect to be Babe Ruth and knock it out of the park. Okay? The best hitters out there, and I know a lot of the Yankee fans are going to love this, Derek Jeter. I would rather be known as Derek Jeter, base hit king, than the guy that goes up and's got 35 home runs, but he's got 60 strikeouts or whatever the hell it is. Don't go for a home run every time. Start getting some base hits. Start getting that $5,000 account to look like $7,000 and $8,000. Get that $20,000 account to look like $25,000, $27,000. Get that $10,000 account to look like $12,000, $13,000, and don't try to do it in one trade. Are we good on that? I hope that really gels, because that is a great way to destroy yourself. Not only will you be off the team of Major League Baseball, but you'll be out of trading, and it'll really suck. You want to feel isolation? Yeah, isolation really kicks in when you're going for home runs every time and you're getting kicked in the face. And you're going to sit there and go, woulda, coulda, shoulda. All right, so the reward, the risk, and you get hit. And immediately you're like, oh, God, it went purple, but now it's going yellow. My life is coming to an end. No, it's not. It's just testing. It's testing the highs back over here. It might even go up to the level and kiss it, but it never did. And by the way, if you had to take that business call, or you're a little late to get in front of your business to open the damn door and open the cash register to start making money, yeah, you have another chance to get in. That's right. You could get in here as well. Just a few points of a differential. Now, I'm not going to go into the money management. That was last week's workshop, but a lot of things could have been done here. But the reality is, I'm showing you guys the EUREX session. I'm showing you crude oil, and now we're going to go forward to the U.S. session. Same market, same market. What could you do? Well, in the same market, and again, I don't care if you don't trade crude. It doesn't matter what the market is. Just look at the logic and the basics that I'm giving you here. Same rules apply. Now, of course, the difference is you get to look to the left. And man, if that does not give you a reason to get your butt in front of your computer before prime time starts, I don't know what will. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the market is neutral. It is neutral. And here we go. Get ready to let the big dog eat. 7:55. You get the break. And by the way, you knew for 5, 10, 15 minutes where the break was going to be. It starts to turn purple and you're thinking, oh man, it's turning purple. Now, it does not have a 5 accelerator. Okay? This is not a classic Gnostic trade, and this is for the members that have been following Joe and myself for 10 years plus. This is not Gnostic. This is looking at the color of the candle. This is using the channel. This is recognizing the secondary bear zone at the beginning, and this is also applying the list of logic. How much of the list of logic, this stuff right here, how much applies? I can't tell you what it was, but you have to make sure you got a lot of things stacked up so you have a medium to high probability. Give yourself 1 point of credit for every one of those things, and the more you have, the better. If you only have one of the 6 things here, then yeah, low probability. Hey, knock yourself out. Good luck. Don't be crying on my shoulder. There's not a lot of logic there. I'll be the first one to tell you. You know, Rick, why'd you take that trade, man? Well, look good. I had the channel. That's all you have. We're not here to say every time you have a channel, every time you have a purple bar, sell. No. 5, 10, 15, 25, 35 minutes. Your day is done. Maybe you go back to bed. Maybe you vacuum the upstairs today. Maybe you go clean up the garage today. Maybe you go watch that Formula season on Netflix and binge watch the whole day. You're done. Your day is done if that's the amount that you're trying to make in a day. And do you have another shot? You don't have another shot. And ladies and gentlemen, can I give you a tip? Here's one of those gold nuggets. Once you hit a critical, you are done until it goes all the way back up to the greens. That's for channel trading. Once it's taken out, the critical support or the critical resistance, you are done. I often refer to it as DNT, do not trade. We're done. Full tilt. I'll also say full tilt. Done. And sometimes that happens in the EUREX session. Now you can trade, just recognize that oftentimes when this happens, it won't come back. Okay, and in this example, it did not do it in the EUREX. So this is actually all the more reason why I want to take this trade, is because it stopped here to take a breath. It's setting up again. Prime time, channel break, and man, boom, hits it. You're done. Good night. Yeah, I know it went down later in the day, but you're not sitting around waiting later in the day unless you are somewhere else on the planet or have a different sleep pattern and the EUREX doesn't work for you and the US doesn't work for you and the only thing that works for you is the Asian session. Well, you're not trading crude oil in the Asian session. You're going to be trading gold or copper in that Asian session. So again, just randomly pulled a couple charts here. Now, I'm going to open this up to you guys. I'm going to answer a couple questions right now, and I want you guys to tell me what you want to see. Here's what I need from you. Give me the prime time session. So let me put them back up. Let's get these back up. I want you guys to tell me what you want. Just randomly give me a prime time session in the market. Okay. So for example, US afternoon crude or US morning gold. Okay. And I'm just going to randomly go. I'm going to load like 30 days on the chart, and I'm literally just going to scroll and I'm going to stop. Okay. So let me clear the slate while you guys are doing that. Again, I want the session, the market, and I'll pull something up. I'll just randomly do a couple of these for you guys. All right. So let me go to a naked chart first and foremost. And by the way, the reason why I do this, guys, is it really does show the power of these levels. Like I call the levels the Tony Stark levels of trading. Yeah, it's a reference to Marvel, Tony Stark, Iron Man. You put these glasses on and you see the world in a whole nother light. I just don't know how people trade without them. You know, it's amazing. All right, let me load up some data here. I'm going to load up. Okay, cool. I got 30 days loaded up. And I'm going to answer some questions, and then I'll do a couple. I'll just randomly take them from the crowd here. Thanks for hanging with me, guys. I know we're at an hour. I'm going to wrap. I'll do one, and then I'm going to wrap with just one more slide I'll share with you guys. Making sure everyone's cool on questions. You guys are looking pretty good. Somebody lost audio, but only one person. It sounds like we're still good on the audio. Gold, crude. Okay, so I've got coincidentally a few of you guys asking for the S&P. I see gold. I see a lot of people asking for gold. Let's go with gold. All right, gold, and I'm seeing U.S. morning. Okay, cool. I like that because I got a lot of you guys asking for it. Let's do that. Gold, U.S. morning. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. And I'm just watch what I'm doing here. First of all, let me switch this to gold. This will take a minute to load up. Oh, it didn't take long at all. Very cool. Okay, and I'm going to put a template on here. And the template I'm going to put on is going to have everything that I've been talking about, the channels, the levels, the DMS, the Dynamic Market Sentiment Indicator, and it's going to also show me the colors of the candles switching from strength to neutrality to weakness. And there we go. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and squeeze this down for now. And watch, I'm just grabbing this bar down here. I have no idea where I'm stopping. There, stop. Okay, this is on the 27th of March. Okay, pretty flat day. Let's pick another one, guys. The market's pretty flat. Let's go a little bit more. Okay, here we go. There we go. There we go. That looks good, right? Okay, beautiful. Here we go. So you guys called for gold. You called for the U.S. session morning. Okay, 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock. There it is. Okay, stretch it out. Stretch it out. Okay, there's your U.S. session morning. Actually, I'm cheating a little bit. There we go, 8 o'clock. And this is on the 26th day of March, so about 2-3 weeks ago. Guys, I haven't done anything yet, and I know you guys can all see where the trades are. Okay? And I do reference trades, but the reality is there's only really one clean trade. Okay? Let's stretch this out. And again, for all those of you that are in a trial, that are new for the first time, there's the roadmap. This trade that we're looking at for gold is in the bull zone 1. It's a bull zone 1. It's a great place for buying because when you're buying, you want to buy low. Think of it as a start line. This is the bull level start line. This is the finish line. Okay? Sorry, I can't draw that well. And this is the bear. Okay, you guys are with me? Here we go. You come in early. You're at your seat at 7:45. You're like, okay, well, the channel's down here in the neutral trade zone. So I'm going to wait for that channel to come up. Oh, it's 8 o'clock. And look at this. Channel's coming up. I'm placing my stop. I can see that I have blue candles. I can see that I have a 5 accelerator back to back. Market is moving. Volume is coming in. Volatility is kicking up. And I have visibility. I'm in bull zone 1. I can measure the reward and I can measure the risk. By the way, we have an indicator. It's called the R3. It's down here. I want you guys to recognize that at the beginning, I'm going to put a circle on it. I'll squeeze this back down in just a moment. At the entry area, go straight down and recognize what we have down below. Oh, I can't do that, can I? I can do it here. What do you got? You got a R3. R3, it's the risk to reward. Risk is in red, reward is in green. We're looking for a 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio. Guys, these are epic over here. Holy cow. But just stay with me for right now because this is the beginning of the bull zone. I have that as an aid to help me. Hey, this is a good risk-reward ratio. Now, you can do it the old-fashioned way. Measure it with a calculator. You can also get a crosshair and measure it by eyeballing. Okay, 1645 up to the reward. I got to move my toolbar out of the way. 1645 to 1660. Guys, that's a $1,500 reward. To risk, how much? Well, 1645 down to 32, risking 13 points to make 15 points. It's not clearly, let me just make sure I got that right. 34, my bad. 33 to, yeah, that's right. Okay, so it's roughly about 12 points, risking 12 points to make 15. Now, that's a $1,200 risk. I'm not risking $1,200 for this. I don't care how much it made. I'm going to put my stop using that first level, the bull. I'm going to let the bull level be my stop out. And I can shrink my risk down. And now I'm talking 39 to 44. I got about $500 of risk to make potentially 1,500. I just turned it into a 3-to-1 risk reward ratio. Now, it's going to sting if I get hit. So you got to trade some minis here if that's too much. And I believe you can trade micros on the gold as well. Yeah, I know you can. So here's a way for me to trade some multiple lots and still take advantage of a trade that in 5, 10, 15, 25 minutes got its profit target. That's $1,500 on a full lot in 25 minutes. Never came close to getting stopped out at the beginning of prime time for the US session. Now, of course, it's not going to happen every single day. I'm just going to go to the next day. Let me get rid of all this stuff and let's just go to the next day. Levels are changing at midnight. Here's the EUREX session, flat. Here's the US session, 8 o'clock, right here. Flat. Like I said, it's not going to happen every day. I don't know if gold was a leader or a laggard this day. I don't know if there was a lot of momentum. You have a kick out with the channel, but as you can see here, prime time starts at 8. It's showing you weakness again, and it failed. With all that yellow before and a little bit right before the prime time and some more coming up, again, if it's not one of the biggest laggards, probably not going to hang on for so long. If you had to stop up above that bull level, this is a stop out. This is a loss. Net, the takeaway is between 8 to 11 on this next trading day, market didn't go anywhere. You didn't have a lot of volume. You didn't have a lot of volatility. You didn't have anything but visibility. And this is why I'm always trying to come in and stack the odds up to see what's leading, what's lagging, what's the RQ Tech telling me, and how much logic is stacked up for me to take this trade. There was nothing that day. Very flat consolidation. Didn't move. Didn't move in the EUREX session. Just kind of poked its head up in the bull, poked its head down in the bear, stayed flat. US session, same thing. Poked its head in the bull, poked its head back down the bear, and then we go to the Asian session. Asian session is going to be, you know what? This was on a Friday, so there was no Asian session on that Friday. You'd have to wait until the next day, which would be Sunday afternoon. Yeah. So I could do these all night. I don't have time to do that all night. I've taken you guys 15 minutes over. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flash a couple things up. This is especially great for those that are coming in and doing a trial. Guys, we do these every Wednesday. I always try to take a topic. I always try to apply to the most current market events. Like to look at trades that we've done in the lab and try to teach as much as I can on one particular topic. And we got another one coming up next Wednesday, which is going to be all about a trade plan, something you guys all need to have. And if you don't, I can most certainly help you guys. I'll give you some building blocks to go build it, and I can do some customized ones for you guys on a one-on-one. Try before you buy. So a lot of you guys are in a trial right now. Take advantage of it. My goodness, you got 5 days a week to watch Joe, myself. I start doing the trading at 9:30. Joe starts talking at 9, looking for setups. And then aside from the trade lab, you also have workshops. So you're going to, in a 2-week span, get roughly about 14 to 20 hours of watching from a distance. What you need to do, though, is at some point, you got to get a simulated account up and running. A simulated account costs nothing. NinjaTrader, unfortunately, with everything that's been happening, it's tougher to get a free simulated account. I believe you need to have like $400 in the account now to get the free data. The Merc is kind of caught wind and doesn't want anybody to get free data anymore. So they're being a pain in the side to those companies out there like NinjaTrader that are giving access to free data. So, I mean, listen, guys, deposit $400. If you don't like it, get out. You don't lose anything. Get your $400 back. You're in a sim environment. You're not trading the 400. You just need the 400 to kind of have it as a deposit to say I have the intent to do something. We want you to have the intent to do something. So after about a week, I always like to tell people after a week of watching a workshop, listening to the logic, watching me trade, if it's not clicking, we're not for everybody, then just go find something else. I mean, I don't want you to sit around and waste your time, especially right now. There's a lot of people that are trying to supplement. It's their main form of income, or they're trying to complement what they're doing. You don't have a lot of time. I get it. I understand it. I want to help you guys out the best that I can, set you right. I'm not going to tell you to plop $20,000 in and trade like a banshee and do 5 lots every time. That's insanity. Whatever you're going to put in, you got to go in sim. And while you're in sim, we want you to be set up with our indicators. So you can get set up with a sim account and you can, follow me the best that you can. I know it's not always easy. I don't expect it to be easy for you to follow me. That's not the goal of why I do what I do. If you're trying to be a copycat to me, I try to give you guys as much of a heads up as I can. The reality is you got to get these indicators, and making a purchase, we can work with you, especially with what's going on in the world. The last thing we're going to do is stick it to anybody to not be flexible. So if you need us to be flexible, let's talk about it. We got some options there. Tim is a good guy to talk to. He'll be reaching out to you if you're interested. Tim at riosquant.com. His contact information is here. It's in the middle there. You can reach out to him if you want to talk shop about prices, packages. What are the packages? Here they are. We got a few of them for you. So let me just put this back into a presentation screen. Just following me in the lab after your 2 weeks is up, it's kind of like I always like to say, like a Spotify or a Pandora or a Netflix. You got a monthly membership. That's to come into the room, to be engaged in these workshops, to ask questions, to watch me trade. That's the Trade Lab. That is a monthly cost. That's a monthly cost of you doing business inside your store to keep the lights on, $249. You can stop at any time, kind of like a gym membership, which you guys have probably put that all on hold. You can always unfreeze it. So you can always stop it, start it as you please. The RQ Obos, didn't get to that tonight. I talked about it in the lab today. That's a great indicator to help us spot retracements in the market and overbought, oversold conditions. I always try to look for like 1 Obos trade a day in the lab. I can't remember if I took one today or not. I think I did take one. In fact, I think we only had one. But that's a great indicator. A lot of the members have been following don't have it. And I mean, my goodness, $10,000 account, you could probably pay for itself in 1 or 2 trades. Never forget the trade I did in April. It was my trade of the day, and I darn near made $2,000 on a 1 lot with the RQ Obos. Love it. Turbo Scout, that's 95% of what you guys see me do in the Trade Lab. That's going to get you an e-guide. That's going to get you the indicators. It's going to give you the inputs for the indicators, where I'm using a Fibonacci and a simple moving average. So you get the details for that. That's $14.95. And if you just want everything, right? Everything, the Obos, the Turbo Scalp, you're getting the levels, the RQ Tech. You're getting the DMS to understand what the sentiment is all the time. The accelerators on top of the candles and the bars. The channels to help you with precision entries. The Obos, which is great for retracement, and the Turbo Scalp, so you could technically have 2 or 3 strategies in one with everything. That's a smoking price, $29.95. I'm going to continue to do what I've done the last couple weeks, especially with COVID going down and people just feeling the pain. We're going to continue to give a 25% discount. I'll be doing that for the next 2 weeks. Then we're going to take it back up. So $29.95, we're going to give you a 25% discount off of any purchase you make over the next 2 weeks. So take advantage of that. We are stacked up. I said this last week and I'm saying it again. We're a small shop. We don't have like 12 lifetime people on the phone standing by to help people. Small team. So if you're thinking about getting set up like next week, take advantage of getting in soon. Getting at least your name in, plugged in, so we can save a spot for you, so you're not all ready to go next week, and you're still waiting to get indicators and getting set up. So give yourself a little bit of a cushion there, and definitely take advantage of the discount that I'm throwing out. So you can tell Tim EP sent you with the 25%, reference that, and he'll take care of you. So all your contact information is here. I hope you guys do like what you heard tonight. You're serious about it. You're investing in yourself. Me putting in this time and getting you guys into the trade lab is all great and all, but if you're not actually stepping up and making, the initiative to apply this and actually try it in a sim, then try it in a real account, you're just going to be where you were, 2 weeks ago, which is still searching, and that's okay. Because like I said, we're not for everybody. Some people are out there looking for some kind of magical pill or, hey, can it automatically kick out a trade for me? No, that's a whole nother system altogether. That's not what we do. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. You guys got everything you need. Any questions on the tech for some support, you can send an email to support@riosquant.com. Again, if you want to talk to us about packages and pricing, you can send an email to tim@riosquant.com. And it is 6:25 local time west. That means 9:25. That means in exactly 24 hours, I will be seeing you guys right back here in the Trade Lab. I'll stay back and text or chat with some of you guys for a little bit. Outside of that, I'm going to kill the recording, and I'll see you guys in the Trade Lab tomorrow morning.